We're going to look at continuous random variables. Before, what we did was we looked at discrete random variables. With discrete random variables, we're talking about a specific probability where we have a countable number of probabilities in our distribution. With the continuous random variable, what we have is an infinite amount of probabilities. So what we do is we represent it with a curve. We're going to look at two specific types of continuous random variables. The first one is the uniform distribution. And when we're talking about a uniform distribution, what we're doing is we're talking about a rectangle. So uniform means the same. So what we're doing is we're trying to find a distribution that's the same all the way across. So what we have is a rectangle. And our area is based off of whatever our base is and our height is. And that's what a uniform distribution is. Now, all distributions or all probabilities have an area of 1 or a set of 1. So since the probability or the area is equal to 1, we're able to find the base and the height if we have one. So this right here is our uniform distribution. Now what we're going to do is we're going to look at an example. It tells us that our uniform distribution has a length of 2. So if we were to draw it out, what we would have is a rectangle. It starts at 0. It has a length of 2. Now, since the area has to be equal to 1, that means the height has to be 1/2, because area equals 1/2, or I should say 2 times 1/2, and that has an area of 1. So whatever the base is times the height is always going to find us the area. So that means that our height is equal to 1/2, since our base is 2. Now what we're going to do is we're going to find our area when x is less than 1. So what we have is a uniform distribution. And since the length is 2, 1 would be right in the middle. And what we want is we want everything less than 1. So when we use the area model, our base is 1, our height is 1/2, so that would equal 1/2. That would be our area. Now for letter C, what we have is a uniform distribution. It starts at 0.2, it ends at 1.4. So that means that our area is going to be in here. Now before we solve it, just one thing to mention. Whether our inequality has an equal sign or not an equal sign, it really doesn't matter, because what we have is an infinite amount of numbers. And if we include 1 or not include 1, 1 divided by infinity is 0. What that means is whether this is greater than or equal to or less than or equal to, it still has the same probability. So you don't have to worry about that. Now, if we're trying to find the area, we have to figure out our length. So what is the difference between 1.4 and 0.2? That would be 1.2. So that means our base is 1.2. Our height is the same, it's 1/2. Half of 1.2 is 0.6. So that means that the area, or the probability, is